You get to be the umpire in the baseball game, or you get to have a team, but you don't get to do both at the same time. We need to enforce our antitrust laws, break up these giant companies.
Democratic presidential candidate Elizabeth Warren has emerged as a leading voice in breaking up big tech. The Warren campaign argues that while these tech companies are hallmarks of American innovation, they've grown big enough to prohibit smaller innovators from being competitive.
For Warren, breaking up big tech is part of this campaign of hers to really focus on economic consolidation and the downstream effects that come when there are companies that are too big and too powerful in the U.S. economy.
Warren wants to pass legislation that would break apart tech companies with an annual global revenue of $25 billion or more, and her campaign has released comprehensive plans on how she would do it. Her proposed wealth tax on the country's highest earners would also undoubtedly hit some of the most prominent tech executives. While Warren has targeted big tech companies for months, she's specifically honed in on Facebook, which also owns WhatsApp, Instagram, and is one of the most widely used and influential social media platforms. Tensions between her campaign and Facebook grew in October 2019. The Verge shared leaked audio from a July meeting at Facebook, where CEO Mark Zuckerberg mentioned potential legal action against Warren.
Like Elizabeth Warren, who thinks that the right answer is to break up the companies, if she gets elected president, then I would bet that we will have a legal challenge, and I would bet that we will win the legal challenge.
Now, Warren didn't respond too kindly to that. I think she saw it as an attack on the democratic process and as an attack on independent investigations. And so she came right back out and hit Mark Zuckerberg and said it was proof positive that there needed to be that kind of probe and that kind of antitrust oversight of the company.
Warren took things a step further and challenged another controversial Facebook policy, not fact-checking political ads. Her campaign posted this ad on Facebook, falsely claiming that the company endorsed President Trump and then admitting the falsehood in the next line.
Warren is like many other 2020 candidates. She has to use these social media sites, and she uses them pretty regularly. She's constantly tweeting, sometimes attacking Facebook and others in her tweets. She's advertising on Facebook, occasionally to make the point that Facebook advertising is broken. And it sort of speaks to this reality that you can't avoid social media. Even if you want to criticize them, you still have to use these services to reach voters at the end of the day.
The Warren ad was her response to Facebook's decision to keep up a false ad posted by Trump. It targeted former Vice President Joe Biden and made false claims about his monetary relationship with Ukraine.
If you think it's problematic for Russian agents to spread a bunch of falsehoods in 2016, Warren is saying it's just as problematic when it's U.S. politicians who are deliberately spreading those falsehoods entering the 2020 election.
Zuckerberg has said that while these controversies have made him consider banning political ads, there are no plans for the platform to do so. He's instead doubled down on Facebook not fact-checking political ads, testifying about it before Congress.
You plan on doing no fact-checking on political ads?
Chairwoman, our policy is that we do not fact-check politicians' speech, and the reason for that is that we believe that in a democracy, it is important that people can see for themselves what politicians are saying.
Warren's decision to use Facebook to criticize Facebook is meant to garner attention, and it speaks not only about her political stance on the company, but how a traditionally liberal part of the U.S. will vote in 2020.
I think the interesting thing in 2020 is going to be watching how Silicon Valley votes at the end of the day, because the Bay Area, the San Francisco Bay Area, has always leaned liberal. Are they going to continue to give money or try to give money and support to a candidate who has advocated for breaking up some of the very companies they work for? Or might this be the sign of a schism between this hotbed of Democratic support for such a long time and the party that's long relied on that support?